I don't know exactly when I put it up, but
We'll get started. Welcome everybody to the, what's today, October 11th, 2016 budget meeting. Start with a moment of silence followed by the pledge.
allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any changes you want to highlight, Connie, since the last budget meeting?
Sure. 131010, the real estate transfer tax, I increased it 4,000. Some of these I've just been looking at the averages over the past couple of years and just adjusting as the totals for the years start to settle in more. 1320.20 building permits, I also increased $4,000. I added in a section called 1364.00 called Portnoy Collection for 2015 through 2012. This addressed what Ed was talking about of having, 10 years worth of history in there. But I condensed the totals and removed the extra lines to create some more space. I did an analysis this morning on the budget versus actual for Portnoy Collections. We received a report that as of 9/30/2016, we have $107,000 in outstanding balances that they are still trying to collect on for us. Since 2014, the budgeted collection various year trash removal fee accounts was around $75,000. Instead, the actual collection amounts for various years trash removal fees account was about $41,000 on average. So I brought down the budget for $34,000 in collection fees to be more in line with what we're actually collecting versus what we have estimated to be collecting. 1364.45 trash penalties, I increased it $500. Same with trash service charges of $5, I think it's 1364.50. I increased it $1,000 again to be more in line with actual numbers for the past few years. I also corrected 1364.60 recyclable sales. We only had $100 in there, and I realized that was a mistake. It was supposed to be $1,000. In terms of expenses,
Well, Connie, just
Yeah.
hold on the
Sure.
revenue right there. So what's the difference from the last meeting in revenue as far as totals? Do you have a number real quick?
I can get you a number real quick. You mean from the last budget?
Yeah, from the
Okay.
last, yeah, so just to see what your total increases are for revenue.
Okay, 1 second. It brought it down about $22,700 in income.
Wait, I mean increase?
No, no, because I took Portnoy Collections,
Oh, okay, that's right, yeah.
that's a decrease on it.
So down 22, what was that, 22?
$22,700, give or
Okay.
take $1 or $2, and then put the change in there.
Thank you.
In terms of expenses, I looked over our payroll service and what we were paying, and I decreased 1406.15 by $800. Again, just to be more in line with what the averages seem to be. I believe you guys had me look into the rent for the copier, category 1406.65, and I decreased that, so the total on that is now $3,000.
Connie, when was the last time with, as far as payroll service, is that about in line of the average Did you ever,
Check with competitors?
Yeah,
I know it was less than what you guys were doing with paychecks, but since you guys had just switched when I started, I didn't look into another payroll
okay,
company.
Thought we did a 3-year deal there too, or something. We at least looked at prices. I don't know if you know.
I don't believe we're locked into
Okay.
anything
No,
that
this
I'm
is
aware of.
Okay.
yeah.
I think maybe we got prices on it, maybe that's what I'm thinking. But, yeah.
There's so many of them out there, I'm just curious.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. Do you do it all online too? Is that pretty much how you do it? So you just log into the website, okay, like any other company, right?
Yeah, I don't have we have a customer service representative, but it's not like, we have someone in the building that I call with questions for.
Okay.
So it's brought down the cost somewhat over the past couple of years. It's not thousands of dollars, but it's a couple $100 savings.
any issues with the payroll service in general? Do we have any concerns with it?
Not really, I mean, a lot of the issues that I was having with, we have sorted it out at this point. A lot of things had to do with like SUI tax and FUTA tax, and supervisors are exempt on some of them and others not, so once we have that squared away, that became a lot easier. 140730 for computer network expense, it decreased back down to $3,000 for the budget. Our average CompNet bill seems to be about $250 a month. Hopefully next year it'll go down a little. We've had a lot of activity with new emails and just changes. The big one for the budget is I had a meeting with Benecon, or PIMIC, PMHIC, or health insurance. So for 1410.60 under the medical insurance, and this only affects the police department since the road crew is now going through Teamsters Health and Welfare. We received a 19.1% increase. I had only estimated for 10%, so it increased the premium overall for the year by $15,500. On average now, the annual family premium is $35,000 a year.
Wow.
And we also cannot drop any more people off of our health insurance plan, or we'll end up having to be pushed out of PIMIC. 141152 internet service for the police department, I decreased $2,500. They no longer need the MiFi units for the police cars, since, is it the county that's providing that?
Yes,
energy?
county's providing that for the new CAD system.
So that finally came through, and that is off our bill, already effective this month.
Which one was that?
1411.52 under internet services.
5.3.
5.3.
Oh, 5.3, I'm sorry.
So we're still gonna pay $3,700 a year for just internet service? That's $300 a month. Unless
Back
we're
and look
running
at
a
that
Google
number.
data center.
Yeah, that's not, yeah.
That can't be right. Okay, sorry. 1411.5. I'll get that updated for the board. I believe your guys' internet service is $90 a month for 12 months, so it should be $3,600 roughly with taxes. So that might be right.
3,600. No.
No, it's not.
It's 7,800. 90 a month times 12 is 840.
Yeah. Big difference.
It's a huge difference.
12,
Wow.
10,
Huge for internet service. It's 3,000 right there.
I decreased general roads for, we created a line item in the general fund for roads, but we actually haven't put money towards it in any of the years yet, so I decreased that to 0 to help create some minor cushion in the budget, especially after the health insurance. Liquid fuels, which is on page 6, we did finally get the allocation from the state, and they moved that up to $278,000 versus $271,000 for last year. In liquid fuels, 1430.50 vehicle repair and maintenance, I decreased that by $7,000. Again, to be more in line with what the expenses have been this year.
For which one, I'm sorry? sorry?
1430.50, vehicle repair and maintenance under liquid fuels.
So back on the allocation, just real quick.
Yeah.
What goes into, I mean, we're looking here to the 2015 budget actual is we're gaining 7,000, which is great.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2016 budget to actual 7,000 more. I mean, and they're saying 278. Is it additional money given back for the winter? I mean, that falls under liquid fuels, that we have that kind of discrepancy there. I mean, if they tell us it's one number and then it ends up being more, which is great for us.
That's typically what it's tended to be. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure why it's raised. I'd
I
have to
didn't know
look
if
back.
there's a reason or something like that.
No.
'Cause I mean, we have the winter services agreement, which is separate, so that's,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for getting more money from the state.
For liquid fuels, 1430.60, increased the budget by $100 for electric and street lights since it's been running more. 1430.77, machinery and new equipment. I added in 15,000 for a possible pickup truck. I believe that was what Tag's looking into.
Which number is that?
1430.77. So that number includes the 22,000 for the Freightliner that we purchased last year, and we're in a 6-year agreement on that. The truck.
Is that to replace one tag?
Yeah, it's a replacement. You just had to have one towed out last night.
We saw. They came in here with all the cars, that was,
It's costing us probably close to $3,000 a year.
which one is that?
That's the 2003 F-550, small mill.
And you'd be looking to replace it with the same,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. Try to just, I'm tired of putting more into it.
How many miles does that have on it at this point?
I think it's probably got, I know it's got over 100,000.
It's a diesel tank?
Yeah, it's what you would want to call lemon diesel. Should have been.
7.2?
Should have been put out of misery a long time ago. But that's, you know, they tried it, I think even back 2 years after they had it, they tried to go to lemon law, and it just didn't work.
1430.80 for other, I put in $1,000 because it was blank. Again, just to be more in line with previous years. And 1430.84 for road improvements, I decreased that $2,000 to balance out the liquid fuels budget. Still upcoming expected changes. Tonight, the board has a presentation regarding MS4 and stormwater management. So they'll be updating us kind of on what budgetary numbers we'll need, and I'll have to adjust the engineering budget from there. Insurances, I'm still working with workers' comp, PERMA, property insurance, and short-term and long-term. We're getting the updates for the 2017 premiums. I don't think any one of them should be anywhere near the medical insurance increases. I also noticed we haven't been budgeting in liquid fuels for crack and sealing the roads. Do we want or need to keep doing this? Because I know it's very time intensive, and I'm not sure if maybe the board is getting what they want out of it, I'm not sure. I just know it costs probably $5,000 to $6,000, and versus tarring and chipping a road, sometimes that can be $10,000, so it's close in price.
How many roads did you get done?
We did all of Britain Station. And we did all of down Frog Hollow. Did again over Youngsburg Road, some of the bigger cracks over there.
How's it look, Steve, in Britain Station? Did you see it?
No, not the station, no.
I mean, the people over Providence Hill, we did that, last year, I guess we did that last year, now they're crying, it looks ugly, and they want us to tire and chip it. It is what it is,
Yeah.
How's it look in Britain Station? Does it look okay? Yeah. I mean, every other municipality is doing that. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah.
look over in West Bradford, I mean, Callan, they work on doing that to prevent
Yeah.
road
I think,
damage.
what'd you say we spent with the crack sealing this year?
I think around 5,300.
5,300? You know, at 5,300, instead of seal cracking, we could probably do a whole road, you know, as far as, you know, tire and chipping the whole road instead of just tiring and cracking.
Who's doing the labor, or did you pass it off to?
Oh, we did, no,
You
we
did?
did all, yeah. The only thing we did was rent the machine. Yeah, rent the machine and material.
Material.
Yeah.
A lot of people are starting to complain about the roads. I mean, last time we dealt with Tim McCall, you know, people are mad.
Yeah, I wanted to do Tim and Cole this year, but, you know, just didn't have the money, so.
What do you have planned for that money that's in there for next year, for that 158,000? What roads were you thinking?
I don't even know, I have a thing out
Yeah,
there.
well, that's okay.
Yeah, 5-year plan.
Okay.
I don't have it written down.
We had, for
Do you feel-
roads.
one
oh,
second.
sorry.
Do you feel, Tag, I noticed that's about the budget amount each year. Do you feel like the township's keeping up at that level of funds going into road repair? Or are we actually falling behind?
Nah, I think we're falling behind because
What-
I stated a couple of years ago, it's gonna take close to $500,000 a year to try to get some of these roads patched up, try to get caught up because, you know, some of these roads are, you know, falling apart.
Maybe we'll look at the 5-year plan and see what we can do.
Yeah, I
Because
think,
there's a couple different areas in the
Yeah.
budget that,
but basically, most of the roads, the main roads and stuff like that are all pretty decent shape. It's just that, you know, some of these developments are pretty old and haven't been overlaid at all.
yeah. Ken Hansen was talking to me at the Park and Rec, and he says the drains over there in his
Yeah,
development need to be,
there's a couple of them over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brook Crossing's the same way.
yeah.
Those bricks fell
The
in.
bricks are falling out, and, you know, we have so
Yeah.
many inlets.
Are you doing the physical repair on that, or do you outsource that?
Well, the inlets I do myself.
Okay.
Down in there, patch them up, put new bricks and stuff like that in, and re-stucco and stuff like that. But it's time consuming.
That does fall in the township versus the HOA, as far as the storm drains?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of the roads that were slated for this year are just moved to next year. Tag had on there Timicol Road, either base work with oil and chipping versus repaving. Beechwood and Woodbridge, oil and chip. Mink Hollow Road needs repaved. Roland Road, oil and chip and base work. Molyneux Lane, oil and chip and base work. And then Ramsey Road, oil and chip. The low, we estimated it to be around $175,000, on high around $238,000. So with the budget, there's not even enough to cover the low end necessarily, so some of those will probably move to the following year.
You have those kind of ranked out as far as which is worse and which needs to,
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
if you get that to us, that'd be great just to see. Get an idea of, what the worst roads are now.
Are there any trucks that are covering for that 550 at all?
Is there any other truck, is that?
Yeah, do you have any other trucks that are covering for that 550? That 550 is a dump, isn't it?
Yes, small,
Okay.
small,
Small
small dump, yeah, like a 3-ton dump.
And there's nothing else back there like that, right? A little,
Nah,
okay.
nothing.
What do you have in small trucks as far as like what else is out there?
I have a 250 pickup,
Okay,
which is, it's got a lot of miles on it now.
okay.
V10 in it. And then we have the F350 utility bid.
Okay.
And that's
That's
pretty
it.
much a small truck.
Everything else is good.
Yeah.
On the 550, what is that used for mostly during the year?
Used for pound, salt.
Okay. So that's one of your smaller plow trucks
Yeah.
then? Okay. So it's not really used
Well, it's
other
used-
than wintertime?
That truck's used probably more than the rest of them.
Okay. Wait, I thought you were saying it was used for plowing and salt.
Pound, salt.
But what do what else during
Plus
the
we
year?
use it for, you know, going out, more small blacktop work and stuff like that.
Okay, to dump, okay.
Picking up Christmas trees or whatever.
Because that's the only truck to dump for blacktop that we have out there, right? Other than the big
Oh,
trucks?
no, we got three big dump trucks, and then we have, you know, one that's downsized, a little bit smaller than the rest of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Could we get by tag if we were to put a little bit of money, if the board didn't go with the new truck? Could we get by? Is there some, I know you said that we're putting $3,000 into it each year, but if you equate out the new purchase of the truck versus that, we can technically get another 12,000 a year.
It's
12 years out of it.
It's up New Holland right now, it was towed out here last
I
night.
saw, yeah.
It didn't want to run, so.
Okay.
Wait and see what, you know, see what they come up with.
See if it comes back, yeah. See if it comes back. I mean, like 40 grand on the road.
That would open up 15,000, we still have to pay the 22 plus for the Freightliner from 2016.
Oh, is that equated into that too?
Yeah.
So on that purchase, you were financing, I guess, that was within that number, it was a finance number?
If that, the 15,000 is a rough number,
Okay.
TAG is looking into the different vehicles, but I don't have, you know, a 5 or 6 year breakdown or a 4 year or anything like that solid yet.
Okay.
I did speak with Dave Barrett, our existing auditor, from Mingus Gutowski. The board had asked if, when we move from cash to accrual, what it'll do to EIT. He said that earned income tax already has 4 quarters in it, so it'll, how do you put it? He said you'll still have 12 months reflected both cash and accrual basis. This year's EIT will be the amount collected January through December, and then they'll make a balance sheet adjustment to remove the accrual December 31st. So, couple $1,000, give or take on it, but it shouldn't, it won't be like we have 5 large payments in one.
Chief, on the fuel for your vehicles there,
Yes.
141200.
It's at 50,000 this year because of the 17,000 allotted for the fire departments, for the ambulances.
Okay, that comes out of there.
Right, but it looks like we're gonna be way below that projected this year, so.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Look, I mean, I didn't realize that was in there for that.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
all
you're
all the
looking at,
gas comes out of mine.
okay,
gasoline.
2015 actual was around 35,
Right.
just under. We're at 20,000 right now
Mm,
through 9 months, so
Right.
looking at 27 to 30. If that,
And I don't know how much the actual ambulances have used this year, so I'm not sure what that.
I can tell you. 1 second.
I mean, going back to 2014, it was at 40,
Right.
but even that,
Well, I think, yeah, you're going back that far, you know, gas was more expensive back then, so
yeah.
that could be a, yeah.
As of date, the fuel consumption for the fire departments has been about $5,200.
So if you wanna knock that number down a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an area where you can
Right.
gain some back, I mean, it doesn't look like we're spending more than that, it doesn't sound like the ambulance and them are.
I would say put it back to 35 then and see where it rolls.
Didn't the oil just go up yesterday?
What's that?
Didn't crude just go up a bunch yesterday?
Oh, yeah, it might have, you know what?
It did yesterday.
Okay, so we might wanna
Yeah.
be a little.
Well, I was
lenient.
thinking, you know, maybe
The
40.
Saudis said they were gonna cut production next month,
Uh,
and oil went up, I don't know what it was, $5-6 a barrel, we had yesterday in like 5 minutes. I don't know what it did today, I don't know.
Yes, maybe we're better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was thinking, you know, I wasn't thinking 35, I was gonna say drop it maybe to 40.
40, 45, something
That
like
gives you a little buffer, you know, at 40, it gets another 10,000 back in the budget,
Mhm.
for some wiggle room. I don't know, if you feel, are you comfortable with that?
No, I'm fine with that, that's.
Did they give a reason with the huge increase for the medical costs?
Combination of high claims and people using the insurance plan, I guess.
Everybody's went up about 19% all around, didn't they? Countrywide this year.
I'm not sure on that. I know Benecon, they said their average was around 10% on it, but we definitely fell on the high end. I think the actuaries want us to be at 100%, and we're, for 7 months in, we're at 222% of their estimates.
Yeah, when we initially went with this plan, it wasn't being used so much, so it really favored the township to go with it. But they did warn us that, you know, based upon the pool, if we use it more than a certain amount, you know, they do penalize other municipalities part of that pool, you know, for the
Well,
cost.
yeah, but are they aware of well, they should be aware that the road, the public works coming off of that, so is that still taking, I mean, that's 4 or 5 people right there off of here.
They won't probably change what their increase is.
Not their increase, I'm saying, but
Yeah.
that should affect the total. If they're not using that anymore, then it's just those from the police department that are using it, so that should drop the total cost, but I guess they can't give us an estimate based on the current number of people on it, given that
Yeah.
we removed.
They don't give you information on who or how the plan is being used, just that it's much more than they were expecting. And it's been that way the past
Well, yeah.
2 years consistently.
And I understand that, I just, with the public works coming off of there, there's less people that are gonna be using it. And if they continue to charge us this much and it ends up being 217,000 or so, then it's a much more than a 19% increase. Because you're cutting it almost in half, the number of people on it. So the usage will go down, I mean, I'm sure they'll readjust the next year and make it go down, but, you know, I don't know, I don't know if it's worth reaching out to them again and just saying, did you take that into account? That we, you know, you can give them which ones it was, they could figure out how much they were using it, and see if that number can be adjusted, I mean, to more, because I'm guessing it wouldn't go that high, given that we took Public Works off of there.
I can reach out to Benecon.
We also received a discount because we had a certain amount of people on it. So that's, you know, as you decrease the amount of people, it does play into the discount that you're getting. So,
Sure.
but yeah, I agree, I mean, it should be looked at. I remember, you know, I met with them,
Yeah, just, it was,
Rosemary and Mark Toth. Chief, do you know of any other medical plan that
I know.
others use?
Other than what we used before was that, Divic, is it
Yeah.
Divic? That's the only one that, you know, I can think of right now. That some of the
Tell her
other,
about it.
we're still in negotiation with the
Yeah, you can't.
police union, so we can't say too much, but,
I was looking around, I mean, that's a determined factor.
yeah. No, I mean, I know they looked, and that was the same answer. Divic is the only other one they